Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory Sri Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, is the coordinator here? Who's coordinating? Hare Krishna Prabhu, can we start?
You can start, Mataji.
Can't hear you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, can we start Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham
बैग आपकी पेंसिल कहाँ है? मेरी
Shri
पेंसिल कहाँ है?
Kamalam Shri Kurun
मेरी
Vaishnava
है ना, ये तो मेरी है, आपकी कहाँ है?
Shrirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Hare Krishna, everyone. So we finished the chapter yesterday, the 10th chapter, and we are going to start the 11th chapter today. Does anyone have any recollection from what we discussed yesterday? Harshita?
Maji, we had a long discussion of what activities are karma yoga, what activities are bhakti yoga, and there was point regarding sincerity. If a person is sincere, but he is due to unavoidable reasons, he is not able to take shelter of the shastras, not able to take advantage of Guru. But if he is always engaged in Krishna consciousness, then Krishna helps him.
Yeah, I mean, this point about consciousness and not activities is so important that out of all these classes that we have had together, we'll have 10 classes, 10 classes together. If that's the only thing you take home, my teaching is successful. You know, I will consider that my time was well spent. If that's the only thing we take home, that it is the consciousness which really determines the result that we get. We may be engaged in many activities. Yes, there'll be some purification, even though the consciousness may not be totally devotional, but The power of bhakti is such that if we just switch that, make that switch, we can progress really fast, very, very fast, because it is going to be pure bhakti yoga. Kanchana Varna?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, yesterday we read that Krishna is the only authority. Krishna is the authority, and it is accepted not only by Arjuna but by other authorities as well. And also we saw in many verses that Krishna tells that I am the essence of everything. In that we saw like many things that among the son of Diti, I am Marut, and ocean, Bhrigu, wind, like so many examples are there. So Krishna basically meant I am essence of everything.
Thank you. And at the end, Krishna says that there's no point in me listing down, who I represent where, because by my splendor, by a spark of my splendor, I pervade throughout this universe. Everything is maintained, created, and destroyed by me. So basically, the whole idea is to understand how great Krishna is. And when we start the 11th chapter today, the connection between the 10th chapter and the 11th chapter is that Krishna basically says towards the end that he pervades the entire universe by a spark of his splendor, by a fragment of his opulence, by a fragment of his power. And in this particular chapter, in the 11th chapter, now Arjun will want to see Krishna's universal form through which he pervades the entire universe. He'll ask him to show him the universal form, his Vishwarup. So that's the connection between the 10th chapter and the 11th chapter. Yes, Harshita?
Maji, sorry, before we move forward, I wanted to ask that since it is most important to have the proper consciousness, even more important than doing the activities. So firstly, what can we do to imbibe this consciousness? Because like I heard yesterday only in the morning, when I was chanting for 95% of the time, my consciousness was I have to complete my rounds because I have to leave for work. I have to come. I don't want them to hang. I want to complete jaldi se khatam karna. So it is, and while cooking also, we ask everyone what would you eat. So it's difficult to maintain, unfortunately, that consciousness. So how can we do that? And also if someone is like, if like the example from yesterday, that if my duty is to clean the house, instead of cleaning the house, I think Arey koi baat nahi, I will do it later. Let me chant 4 more rounds instead of cleaning. Is that reading? Oh, sorry. Is that bhakti yoga? Is that correct? What?
See, it depends. Whatever you can do in whichever consciousness, it depends. If cleaning is required and then you leave it and just think that, okay, I'll chant my rounds. I don't know what to say for that. If cleaning is required, then you must clean. And with the consciousness that this is Thakurji's ashram, I need to clean this ashram for his pleasure. So that should be the consciousness. And chanting for chanting, we should never have this viewpoint that I finished my rounds, khatam ho gaye. Never. It is very detrimental to establishing a proper loving relationship with the holy name. So we should always have the mood of service or mood of, like I'm chanting Krishna for your pleasure. And I'm chanting for your pleasure. And one has to remember that Krishna said in 10th chapter itself, the one that we read yesterday, what is he? Among sacrifices, I'm japa. Japa is a sacrifice. So we have to remember that. It is not something that we may always enjoy, but it is meant to do as a sacrifice for Krishna's pleasure. So that is one thing we have to remember. And yes, it's difficult, but what is not possible with practice? And Krishna also instructs like that if you practice whatever, like if you remember me and then your duty, it can only come with practice. So the more we practice, the easier it will become. Right now, we are just used to doing everything so mechanically that you just get up in the morning, just, pick up the bead bag, put your hand in it, start chanting. right? So we become, after like initially we may really remember why we are doing something, but if we keep doing it for a while, it becomes mechanical. And that's the challenge for a sadhaka. How not to make the practice mechanical. So it is not that what works for me will work for you. Every sadhaka has to say that how to actually carry on with my practice so that I can connect with Krishna. So for some, it works to actually chant the glories of the holy name before chanting and take a break in between for like a couple of minutes, read something more about the glories of holy name, and then continue. So everyone has to kind of devise a mechanism for themselves. Does that help?
Yes, Mazi. Thank you.
So it's a hit and trial thing. You keep trying, like what really works for me. Try different things and see. Some people like to meditate on Krishna's lotus feet while chanting, hearing, and also like keeping the picture of lotus feet in front. Some people like to keep the holy name, like, you know, in the written form in front while chanting. So everyone has to see what works for them and do it that way. But you'll
I
have,
see it many times. Sorry.
you'll have to try a few things, like, you know, maybe reading about the holy name before you go to sleep, so that morning when you get up, your consciousness is like that. So, or you can like chant some prayers before you start chanting. And so you have to see what really works for you. Okay.
Thank you, Mazi. Thank you.
All right. So let's start with the 11th chapter. So I'll just give you a breakup of this chapter, how this entire chapter is constructed. So 1 to 4 is Arjun requests Krishna to show his universal form. And 5 to 8, Krishna describes about his universal form and how no human has ever seen it before. And then 9 to 14, Sanjay describes what Arjun is seeing in the universal form. Sanjay will describe it. And then 15 to 31, Arjun's experience, will see that he'll go through a myriad of emotions. He will start with, gratitude, then he will go to wonder, then fear will creep in, and, then awe and reverence. So Arjun will go through a whole roller coaster ride when he sees the universal form. And then 32 to 34, Krishna will reply that I am the time, you just become my instrument. As time, I have already destroyed everything. I just want you to become my instrument. You become my instrument. And 35 to 46, Arjun will offer his prayers. And here he will also show his repentance for treating Krishna as an ordinary friend. And 47 to 55, so this section will talk about how Krishna's form can only be seen by the agency of Bhakti Yoga. He can only be perceived by pure Bhakti, nothing else. So this is how this entire chapter is constructed. So, and in Baladev Vidyabhushan calls this chapter as Vishwarup Darshan Yoga. This chapter is Vishwarup Darshan Yoga. Okay, so maybe we can start with reading the first text.
Mazi, may I read?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Arjun Uvacha Mad Anugrahaya Paramam Goyam Adhyatma Samgitam Yat Yoktam Vachastena Mohoyam Vigato Mama. Arjun said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled.
Yeah, so earlier Arjun had said that I am, in the 3rd chapter, he said, I am illusioned. I don't know what to do. I am, so, and now he's saying that my illusion has been dispelled. And the words used by Arjuna are Mad Anugrahaya. That means that you have shown me great favor. To bestow your favor upon me, you have instructed me on these most confidential spiritual subjects. So it's a very, very important attitude to catch, that to remember that if somebody has shown us any favor, the attitude of gratitude is extremely important in spiritual life. We should never, never, never let go of gratitude. And we can learn here from Arjun. His mood is of gratitude. So we should always remain grateful towards those who have helped us even slightly in our spiritual life, in our spiritual journey. And some people will feature in our lives for a little bit. They play a role just to take us from one step to another. Some people are going to feature in our lives for a longer time. They are going to be with us for a long time in that journey. So always remember to be grateful towards each and every person who has helped us even a little bit in our spiritual journey. And this is an attitude which is very, very pleasing to Krishna. And from Arjun also we can learn that he's an extremely grateful person. That's the sign of a devotee. So this is something that we should always remember. And Prabhupada in the purport, he says that now as far as Arjun said, this is second paragraph. Now, as far as Arjun is concerned, he says that his illusion is over. This means that Arjun no longer thinks of Krishna as a mere human being, as a friend of his, but as a source of everything. Arjun is very enlightened and is glad that he has such a great friend as Krishna. But now he's thinking that although he may accept Krishna as a source of everything, others may not. So in order to establish Krishna's divinity for all, he's requesting Krishna in this chapter to show his universal form. So Prabhupada is making it very clear that Arjun doesn't really need to see the Vishwarup. It's not that Arjun wants to see the Vishwarup for himself. He wants to see the Vishwarup to convince other people, to establish Krishna's supremacy for other people. So Prabhupada continues, actually when one sees the universal form of Krishna, one becomes frightened like Arjun, but Krishna is so kind that after showing it, he converts himself again into his original form. So we will see this, that once Krishna shows the Kal Roop of his universal form, of his Vishwarup, Arjun is going to become really scared. And then Krishna will show his two other transcendental forms, his four-handed form, and then he will revert back to his two-handed form, which is his original form. Text 2.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I?
Yeah, please, Prabhu, go ahead.
Bhava ayapo I bhutanam shrutau vistara maya tvataya kamala patraksha mahatmayam api kavyam. O Lotus One, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories. Hare Krishna.
So now that Arjun is like talking to Krishna, he calls him as O lotus-eyed one. The Acharyas say that Arjun is struck by Krishna's beauty. He's looking at Krishna and he's admiring his beauty, that his eyes are so beautiful. They are like lotus. And Prabhupada also says that Arjun addresses Krishna as lotus-eyed out of his joy. So, because for Krishna has assured him in a previous chapter that I am the source of appearance and disappearance of the entire material manifestation. So now he's saying that I have understood everything about appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and also how you are the basis for everything, how you are the basis for creation, maintenance, and destruction. Okay, third.
एवं एत यथा अथा त्वम् आत्मानं परमेश्वर दृष्टुम् इच्छामि ते रूपम् ऐश्वरं पुरुषोत्तमम्. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into the cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours.
Yeah, so here he calls Krishna by the name Parameshwar and Purushottama. So Parameshwar means Arjun is hoping that you are sitting as Paramatma in my heart. So you know what my desire is and you will fulfill my desire. I want to see the universal form. And Prabhupada in the purport says that the Lord said that because he entered into the material universe by his personal representation, the cosmic manifestation has been made possible and is going on. Now, as far as Arjun is concerned, he is inspired by the statements of Krishna. But in order to convince others in the future who may think that Krishna is an ordinary person, Arjun desires to see him actually in his universal form, to see how he is acting from within the universe, although he is apart from it. Arjun's addressing the Lord as Purushottama is also significant. Since the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is present within Arjun himself. Therefore, he knows the desire of Arjun, and he can understand that Arjun has no special desire to see him in his universal form. For Arjun is completely satisfied to see him in his personal form of Krishna. But the Lord can understand that Arjun wants to see the universal form to convince others. And then Prabhupada says Krishna also understands that Arjun wants to see the universal form to set a criterion for the future. For in the future, there'll be so many imposters who would pose themselves as incarnations of God. So to convince people and also to ensure that in the future, if somebody said that I am God, so we can question him. Oh, really? If you're God, then show us your universal form. Because Krishna shows his Vishwarup. So why don't you show us your universal form? And then we'll believe you. So to basically convince others and also to call out the imposters who will pose to be God themselves. Next, 4.
मन्यसे यदि तच्छक्यं मया द्रष्टुम् इति प्रभु योगेश्वर ततो मे त्वं दर्शयात्मानमव्ययम्. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self.
Yeah, once again, we can see Arjun's mood, respect and submission. He's not ordering that, oh Lord, please show me. You know, what is he saying? If you think I am able to behold your cosmic form, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. So there's like so many subtleties in the way Arjun actually deals with Krishna and how Krishna deals with Arjun, that we can learn so much how to deal with the spiritual master, how to deal with other devotees, and it really helps us in our spiritual journey. Prabhupada in the purport says, every living entity is only a spiritual spark. Therefore, it is not possible to see or to understand the Supreme Lord. Arjun as a devotee does not depend on his speculative strength. Rather, he admits his limitations as a living entity and acknowledges Krishna's inestimable position. Further down, Prabhupada says the word Yogeshwar is also very significant here because the Lord has inconceivable power. If he likes, he can reveal himself by his grace, although he is unlimited. He can reveal by his grace. Therefore, Arjun pleads for the inconceivable grace of Krishna. So then Prabhupada says, Krishna is not obliged to reveal himself unless one surrenders fully in Krishna consciousness and engages in devotional service. He's not obliged. He is not an order carrier. When he becomes pleased with the devotional attitude of a devotee, then out of his grace, out of his mercy, he decides to reveal himself. So Krishna's mercy manifests, or Krishna is attracted to give his mercy when he sees the mood of a devotee, when he sees how sincere he is, how serious he is, and then Krishna becomes merciful. 5.
श्री भगवान उवाच पश्य मे पार्थ रूपाणि शतसो अर्थसहस्रशः नानाविधानि दिव्यानि नानावर्णानि वर्णाकृतीनि kritini cha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjun, O son of Parth, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied divine and multicolored forms.
Yeah, so now Krishna is preparing him that what kind of form I'm going to show to you. What does this form consist of? Prabhupada says, Arjun wanted to see Krishna in his universal form, which although a transcendental form, is just manifested for the cosmic manifestation and is therefore subject to the temporary time of this material nature. As far as a devotee is concerned, he is not eager to see the universal form. Why is a devotee not eager to see the universal form? What do we gather from whatever we have discussed so far?
Because Arjuna is satisfied with the personal form of Krishna, two-handed personal form of Krishna, and he understands that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead without his universal form.
Okay, and Harshita?
Mazi, because the universal form is scary. In fact, the two-handed form is so beautiful and attractive.
Yeah, the two-handed form of the Lord is very beautiful and attractive, yes. And?
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
Just like Krishna says, what need is there in the last verse of the previous chapter? What need is there to know all of these detailed things when I can manifest everything with just a mere spark of my splendor?
Yes, so if you already have a relationship with my two-handed form, what is the need for anybody to see his expansive universal form? Yes. And also because it's a temporary form. A devotee has no interest in anything temporary. This form is manifested for the material manifestation, cosmic manifestation. It's a temporary form. So a devotee is interested in the original form of Krishna, which is the Shyam-Sundar forms. Prabhupada indicates in few verses in Bhagavad Gita that the original form of the Lord is his Shyam-Sundar form. And that's what interests a devotee. Okay, and Prabhupada says, as far as the devotee is concerned, he is not eager to see the universal form, but because Arjun wanted to see Krishna in this way, Krishna reveals his form. The universal form is not possible to be seen by any ordinary man. Krishna must give one the power to see it. Yeah. 6.
Hare Krishna Mataji, one more point. Mataji, we asked this Sanjay also could see na Mataji, this universal form.
Yes.
How could we also see that form?
Let's just wait. Prabhupada will tell us. Let's just wait for a few more verses. Prabhupada will tell us who could see, who could not see. Okay?
Okay,
6.
Mataji, thank you.
6. Who's reading?
Pashadityan vasundrudran ashvinau marutastatha bahune adrishtapurvani pashyasharyani bharata. O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before.
So Krishna is preparing him. What all you are going to see? Because, he's kind of walking him through it so that Arjun doesn't get really very shocked when he sees the universal form, but Arjun will get very shocked. So Krishna is trying to prepare him. And also he says that no one has ever seen or heard of this form before. This form is unknown to the human vision. Humans have not seen this form. This form has not been revealed before. 7.
ये एकस्थं जगत्कृष्णं पश्यत सचराचरं मम देहे गुडाकेश यच्च अन्य द्रष्टुम इच्छसि. O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything moving and non-moving is here completely in one place.
Yeah. So if you notice in 5, 6, and 7, 3 verses, Krishna uses one word. One word is repeated. What is that word?
Hare Krishna, Pranam
Question.
Mataji. Just see.
Pashya. Yes, Pashya. Pashya is the word that he repeats in all 3. And he actually uses this word 4 times in last 3 verses. And the reason is that he is emphasizing that Arjun, now you're going to see. Now the request that you made just now, you just see what my universal form is all about. And also he's saying that you see what is going to happen in the future. That is the outcome of the battle. You'll also get to see the outcome of this battle that I'm asking you to fight. And also everything, whatever is there in this creation, you will see each and everything in this form. So Arjun will see a really expansive form and many, many things, the demigods, the Kauravas, the battle, everything he'll get to see. So if we are even a little bit familiar with Mahabharata, we know that Krishna showed his Virat Roop once before. Where did he show his Virat Roop? Does anyone know?
To Duryodhana?
Sorry?
To Duryodhana in
Yes.
the assembly?
Yes, to Duryodhana in the assembly. When he had gone to Kauravas and he was acting as a Shanti Dut, and he had the proposal he had carried the proposal from the Pandavas, and then Duryodhana refused to accept that proposal. And instead, they wanted to, and Krishna said that, you know, what you're doing is a big mistake. And he told Dhritarashtra that your son is going to be the cause of your doom. So when Duryodhana heard these words from Krishna, he decided to capture him. And when he decided to capture Krishna, Krishna showed him his universal form. And Duryodhana did not even then take Krishna seriously. He said, oh, he's just a mystic who has some mystical powers. So did not really accept him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one thing that our Acharya said, that the form that he has shown to Duryodhana was like a partial universal form. And to Arjun, he's going to show his full universal form, the expansive universal form that he did not show to Duryodhana. And also, if you don't have bhakti, Krishna may appear in front of you in his universal form and you will not believe that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is by bhakti that we really get to understand Krishna. Vimanjana charita bhakti vilochanena. If there is no bhakti, there's no way one can see Krishna as he is. Next.
Mataji, just small question. At that time when he showed the form to Duryodhana, he did not impart any special vision to see. So did he actually see the form?
Yeah, a very partial form, not the whole thing, a very partial form. Just Krishna just exhibited that, you know, just a part of his universal form, that how he's the source, just exhibited a partial form to him.
Okay.
Mandaleshwar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Already Krishna has shown this universal form in the partial universal form. It was clear for all common audience, whereas in Arjuna, again he has asked this question to show this form. There was it's required, Mataji. Is what, because we want to show to common public that this is he has to show this Vishwarupa.
Yeah.
But already he has shown this Vishwarupa to in the all assembly.
Yeah,
Still
that was a partial form, and also Duryodhana did not really believe it. And now Arjun is starting a new parampara. We heard that a new parampara is being started from Arjun. So Arjun wants to make sure that whoever comes in my parampara or whoever comes after me, they should have the clarity that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's why he wants to see his all-expansive form. And Krishna will show him what he has not shown to anybody else before. Okay?
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
8.
न तु मां शक्यसे द्रष्टुं नैनेव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्य मे योगम् ऐश्वरम्. But you cannot see me with your present eyes, therefore I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence.
Yeah. So he's saying that you will need special eyes and I will give you those special eyes. And Prabhupada in the purport says, a pure devotee does not like to see Krishna in any form except his form with 2 hands. A devotee must see his universal form by his grace, not with the mind but with spiritual eyes. To see the universal form of Krishna, Arjuna is told to change his mind, is told not to change his mind but his vision. So the universal form of Krishna is not very important, and that will be clear in subsequent verses. Then in the second paragraph, Prabhupada says, devotees are correctly situated in a transcendental relationship with Krishna, who are correctly situated in a transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features, not by a godless display of opulences. The playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, the parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulences. And then Prabhupada quotes from 10:12:11, a very famous verse, Ittam satam brahma sukhana bhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena. So he's talking about that these boys who are playing with Krishna, how much pious activities they must have done in their past lives to achieve this position. So basically what Prabhupada is trying to imply here is that one who's used to perceive Krishna's sweetness are very exclusive in their scope. They can't perceive Krishna's opulence. You know, but ones who are attracted to Krishna's sweetness can't see his opulence. And we see that in Braj all the time, that he showed his universal form even to Mother Yashoda in Brahman Ghat, right? When he opened his mouth and Mother Yashoda could see the universal form of the Lord. But what was the thought? First, when she saw that, she was bewildered. She's like, what am I seeing? What's wrong with my vision? And then after a few moments, the thought that came to her mind was, maybe something's wrong with my child. You know, maybe something is going on. Maybe this is some kind of a ghostly influence. She doesn't think that he is the supreme personality of Godhead with all these opulences. So Prabhupada is quoting here about the playmates of Krishna, his friends, his parents, because they have the most transcendental vision to see Krishna in his original form. And Arjuna is also like one of those. He's an eternal associate of Krishna, very close to Krishna in a friendly relationship. But now Krishna is saying, I will give you divine vision. Why? He's already seeing the original form of Krishna, right? So why does he need a divine vision? He's already seeing the transcendental form of Krishna. He needs a divine vision because those who are in a relationship of love don't like to see Krishna's opulences. They need a different vision to see Krishna's opulences. So that's why he's saying that. And then Prabhupada in the 4th paragraph, he says, the fact is that devotee is not concerned with seeing Vishwarupa, the universal form, but Arjuna wanted to see it to substantiate Krishna's statement so that in the future people could understand that Krishna not only theoretically but or philosophically presented himself as the supreme, but actually presented himself as such to Arjuna. Arjuna must confirm this because Arjuna is the beginning of the parampara system. So this is what we discussed, that Arjuna, that's why he wants to see. He's not really attracted to the universal form of the Lord. And then the last paragraph, Prabhupada says, the Lord gave Arjuna the necessary power to see his universal form because he knew that Arjuna did not particularly wanted to see it, as we have already explained. Okay, next, 9.
Sanjay Uvacha Evam ततो राजन् महायोगेश्वरो हरि दर्शयामास पार्थया परम रूप Niyeshwaram. Sanjay said, O king, having spoken thus, the supreme lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displays his universal form to Arjuna.
So Sanjay is not there. Sanjay is seeing and actually narrating what he's saying to Dhritarashtra. So now Sanjay is saying that the personality of Godhead displayed his universal form to Arjuna. What does that tell us? That Sanjay is also able to see the universal form. And in next purport, Prabhupada will talk about this. So we'll address this when we get there. 10:11.
Hare Krishna. Anekavatra nayanam, anekadbhuta darshanam, anekadivyabharanam, divyanikodya Dyatayudham Divyamalyambaradharam Divyagandhanulepanam Sarvascharyamayam Devam Anantam Vishwatomukham. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and wore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smudged over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding.
Yeah, so in these two verses, Prabhupada says, the Lord uses the word anek 3 times. Anek, anek, anek. So what does it mean? That many. So this form had unlimited number of hands, mouths, legs, and Arjuna is seeing all this. And also the word divya. Divya is used 4 times to indicate extraordinary garments, weapons, garlands, and fragrances. So Arjuna is now seeing this form, which is comprised of many heads, many hands, many legs, and also it's a brilliant form, wearing very wonderful garments, carrying weapons, and wearing garlands, and also different kind of fragrances are emanating from this particular form. So Prabhupada says these manifestations were distributed throughout the universe, but by the grace of the Lord, Arjuna could see them while sitting in one place. So what did he see? Ananto Vishwato Mukham. In one place he saw these forms which are distributed throughout the universe. And that was due to the inconceivable potency of Krishna. Next, 12.
दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपद् उत्थिता यदि भासा सदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मनः. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form.
So now Sanjay is using an analogy to explain to Dhritarashtra how brilliant this form is. That if thousands of suns were to rise at once, their radius might be able to resemble the effulgence of this universal form. So this universal form is really wonderful. It is brilliant, unlimited, and all expanding. And in this purport, Prabhupada says, what Arjuna saw was indescribable, but yet Sanjay is trying to give a mental picture of that great revelation to Dhritarashtra. Neither Sanjay nor Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjay, by the grace of Vyasa, could see whatever happened. Thus, he now compares the situation, as far as can be understood, to an imaginable phenomena, that is thousands of suns. So how is Sanjay able to see the form? Sanjay is also able to see the form by the grace of his guru, Vyasadeva. Next.
Tatraikastham Jagat Krishnam pravibhaktam anekadha apashyad deva devasya sharire pandavastada. At the time, Arjun could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands.
Yeah, so he could see all these, many, many things which are spread all over the creation in one place. And Prabhupada says the word tatra there is very significant. It indicates that both Krishna and Arjun and Krishna were sitting on the chariot when Arjun saw the universal form. Others on the battlefield could not see this form because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjun. Arjun could see in the body of Krishna many thousands of planets. As we learn from Vedic scriptures, there are many universes and many planets. Some of them are made of earth, some are made of gold, some are made of jewels, some are very great, some are not so great. Sitting on his chariot, Arjun could see all this, but no one could understand what was going on between Arjun and Krishna. So for rest of people on the battlefield, it just seemed that they both are having some conversation and Arjun is looking at Krishna because they could not see the universal form of Krishna, because that divine vision was given only to Arjun, and Sanjay could see it because of the grace of his guru. And later on, after a few verses, we'll come to know that even demigods could see the form. Demigods in the higher planets could see the form. So this form was not for everyone. Only very few people who were empowered could see this. Next, 14.
Tatha sa vismayavisto hrishtaro manhananjayah pranamya shirsa devam kritanjalir abhashita. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjun bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord.
So now we can see that Arjun first was situated in Sakya-rasa, then after listening to 10th chapter, he developed a mood of gratitude towards the Lord. And now it's astonishment. He's astonished to see this form and he's bewildered. Like, what am I seeing? What's going on? So Prabhupada says, once the divine vision is revealed, the relationship between Krishna and Arjun changes immediately. Before, Krishna and Arjun had a relationship based on friendship, Sakya-rasa, but here, after the revelation, Arjun is offering obeisances with great respect. With folded hands, he's praying to Krishna. He's praising the universal form. Thus, Arjun's relationship becomes one of wonder rather than friendship. So then Prabhupada continues, great devotees see Krishna as the reservoir of all relationships. In the scriptures, there are 12 basic kinds of rasas, relationships, right? And it is said that he's the ocean of all the relationships exchanged between two living entities, between the gods or between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Here, Arjun was inspired by the relationship of wonder, and in that wonder, although he's by nature very sober, calm, and quiet, he became ecstatic. His hair stood up, and he began to offer his obeisances unto the Supreme Lord with folded hands. So he's not afraid yet, but he's astonished. He's experiencing wonder. Next.
Arjuna uvacha pashyami devanstav devadehe sarvamsha tatha bhuta vishesha sanghan brahmanamisham kamalasanatham rishim cha sarvan ugraksha divyan. Arjuna said, my dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on a lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva, and all the sages and divine servants.
Yeah, so he's seeing from top to bottom. The highest is Brahma and the lowest is the serpents. So he's seeing the entire manifestation from top to bottom. So Arjuna is able to see everything. So as we know that out of the 12 rasas, 5 are the basic rasas and 7 are secondary rasas. We're all aware of that? What are the 5 basic rasas?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya.
Yes, these are the 5 basic rasas. And then there are secondary 7 rasas. In wonderment is one of the secondary rasas. So a devotee has a relationship with the Lord in one of the primary rasas. And sometimes a devotee experiences these 7 secondary rasas, one of the 7 secondary rasas. And these rasas actually enrich the relationship in the primary rasa. So this is known as vibhav, they enrich. But a devotee is never situated in the secondary rasa for a long time. A devotee is always situated in a primary rasa. He may experience that secondary rasa for a little bit, but that's not the rasa which remains for a long time. It is only for some time he may experience some secondary rasa. Okay, so now Arjun is saying that I'm able to see everything. Like, I can see Brahma, who's coming out from the navel of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, up to the snakes, like till the bottom of the universe. I can see everything. He can see what's really going on. Okay. 16.
अनेक बाहुदर वक्त्र नेत्रं पश्यामि त्वं सर्वतो अनन्तरूपं नान्तं न मध्यं न पुनस्तवादिं पश्यामि विश्वेश्वर विश्वरूपम्. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes, expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning.
So Arjun, Krishna had said Pashya, Pashya, Pashya. And Arjun is saying Pashyami, Pashyami, Pashyami. Like he's saying, yes, I'm seeing, I'm seeing. What am I seeing? That in this universal form, there's so many arms, so many bellies, mouths, eyes, everything. And there is no limit to this form. This form has no beginning and no end. I'm seeing it. Krishna had kind of like prepared him earlier, and now Arjun is confirming that, yes, Krishna, what you said, I'm seeing it all. Next, 17.
Mataji, sorry, in the last in the verse number 15, in the purport, Prabhupada says that celestial serpent upon which the Garbhodaksha Vishnu lies, the snake bed is called Vasuki. Maji, isn't that Lord Anant?
Yes, and Shesha. The reason Prabhupada says, I can only assume that he says that it is Vasuki, because Ananta expands in form of other snakes. The original snake is Anantashesh, and then he expands in form of other snakes. So that is why he's saying Vasuki. And then he's saying there are also other snakes known as Vasuki. So that is the only way we can interpret this.
So maybe this Vasuki is different from the one that was used to churn.
Yeah, that's why Prabhupada is making it clear that there are other snakes also known as Vasuki. Okay, 17.
Kiritinam gadinam chakrinam cha tejo rashim sarvato diptimantam pashyami tvam durniriksham samantam diptanalaraka dyutim aprameyam. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence spreading on all sides, like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs.
Yeah, so this form that Arjun is saying, he's saying that this form is amazing and it is so brilliant and it contains so many things and I'm able to see it all. It's a decorated form with crowns and clubs, so it's a very, very wonderful form that I'm seeing. And Arjun is amazed to see the universal form of the Lord. 18.
त्वम् अक्षरं परमविवेदितव्यं त्वम् अस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानं त्वम् अव्ययः शाश्वतधर्मगोप्ता सनातनस्त्वं पुरुषो मतो मे. You're the supreme primal objective. You're the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. You're the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion.
Yeah, so when he sees this form, now Arjuna is giving his opinion that what does he really think of Krishna? And when Prabhupada is saying this, and when when Arjuna is saying this, that you are the supreme primal objective, he's confirming that the Krishna standing in front of him is the source of this universal form. This universal form is his expansion. So he's confirming that. And it's going to get very interesting now, because till now, the form that Arjuna is seeing is a still form. That Krishna has expanded and he's showing him a still form. And now we are going to see the action. The action begins now. Okay, 19.
Anadi madhyantam ananta viryam ananta bahum sasi shurya netram pashyami tvam dita huta savaktram swate jasa vishwamidam tapantam. You are without origin, middle or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and the moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance.
Yeah. So what Arjuna is now seeing, that the blazing fire is coming from the mouth of this universal form and is burning the entire universe. You can see that. And this is the beginning of the description of Krishna's Kala Rupa. Now from 19 to 30, there's going to be the description of the Kala Rupa. So Prabhupada says, there is no limit to the extent of the 6 opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here and in many other places, there is repetition. But according to the scriptures, repetition of the glories of Krishna is not a literary weakness. It is said that at a time of bewilderment, of wonder, or of great ecstasy, statements are repeated over and over, and that is not a flaw. So again and again, Arjuna is talking about the radiant form, how it is so effulgent, so much light is coming out of it. So it is not a literary weakness, or it's not a error. So Prabhupada is just making it very clear that, this is expected. If somebody is so wonderstruck, then one doesn't really know what one is saying. He's just like going on repeating the same thing. He can see such a wonderful form in front of him. 20.
Prithivyor idam antaram hi vyaptam tvayekena dishascha sarva drishtva rupam ugram tavedam lokatrayam pravyathitam mahatman. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O Great One, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed.
So this is not just a wonderful form, it is also a terrible form. It's very, very scary. It's a terrible form. And Prabhupada says in the purport that it appears that not only did Arjuna see this universal form of the Lord, but others in other planetary systems saw it also. And Arjuna's seeing of universal form was not a dream. All whom the Lord endowed with divine vision saw the universal form on the battlefield. So we'll come to know that he allowed the demigods to see this form as well. And when the demigods will see this Kala Roop, they'll start running here and there, because they'll be scared too. Next, 21.
Amihi tvam surasanga vishanti kechid bhita prajanalya grananti swasti ti swamaharshi siddhasanga stuvanti tvam stutibhi pushkalabhi. All the hosts of demigod are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings, crying, all peace, are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns.
Yeah. So what is being described, that the demigods are very much afraid of this form, because what will they see? That they are all entering into the mouth of this universal form. And that's why they'll become very, very scared that we are all dying. And sages who are more knowledgeable than demigods, they understand that this is the time to pacify the Lord. So they start chanting Swasti Vachan. Swasti Vachans is like all peace, may everything be auspicious. These are called Swasti Vachans. So they start chanting the Swasti Vachans. And Arjun can see that everyone is surrendered. No one is independent of the Supreme Lord. He can see that how the Supreme Lord actually is all-encompassing. Everyone actually belongs to him. They are not independent of him. 22.
रुद्रादित्या वसवो ये च साध्या विश्वे अश्विनो मरुतश्चोष्मपाश्च गन्धर्वयक्षासुरसिद्धसङ्घाः वीक्षन्ते त्वां विस्मिताश्चैव सर्वे. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishve Devas, the two Ashvis, and the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder.
Yeah, so now it has been described that who all were able to see this form, this wonderful form. These are all residents of higher planets. So these are Devatas, Upadevatas. So they are all from higher planets. They are able to see the Lord. So if we just think about it, that Dhritarashtra is able to hear about this form. He does not have any bhakti as such, but he's able to hear about this form. And so in Mahabharata, it is mentioned that Dhritarashtra itself was not a bad person. He just had too much attachment. He did not want to really do anything wrong. But because of the attachment to his sons and to the throne, he ended up doing a lot of things which were not to be done. But by himself, he was not a bad man. And he's hearing about the universal form of the Lord, and yet he will not surrender. Yet he will not surrender. When will he surrender? Finally, when he will receive the mercy of a great devotee, when Vidura will come back from his pilgrimage and chastise him and call him like, you are here, you are staying with Pandavas like a dog, and really harsh words, that sometimes the harsh words of a devotee are his mercy. So we always want to hear something nice and praiseworthy, but sometimes the chastisement is a greater mercy, because we need to be woken up from our slumber. So Dhritarashtra was woken from his slumber by Vidura's mercy, by his harsh words. So it is, if you just think about it, so wonderful that, he's hearing it all, but he will not surrender. He will only come to the point of surrender when Vidura comes back and gives him his mercy in the form of chastisement. Next, 23.
Rupam Mahat. Sorry, Prabhuji, you continue.
Okay, somebody continue.
Rupam Mahatate Bahu Vaktra Netram Mahabaho Bahu Rupadam
Bahudram bahu drishta karalam drishtva loka prayathitas tadha ham. O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form. With its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth, and as they are disturbed, so am I.
Yeah. Anandita, before I speak about this verse, you want to say something?
Mataji, here in 11.22, it's written that the asuras could also see.
Yeah.
Yakshas and asuras.
Yes.
Which category of asuras are these?
Actually, there is these asuras are like rakshasas. They live in Bhuvar Loka. They are not in Bilva Swarga. They are in Bhuvar Loka, Bhuvar Swarga. So these are just below the Swarg Lokas. They are also considered as higher planets, Rakshasas and some Asuras, some category of Asuras. They live in Bhuvar Loka. These are the people who could see.
So in between the Artha and the Swarg Loka.
Between the Bhuloka and the Swarg Loka, there is Bhuvar Loka. Yeah. Okay. So now Arjuna is calling him, "O mighty armed one." So the acharyas say that the reason he's saying this is that, "Oh, thank you, Krishna, because this is such a terrible form, but I know I am under your protection. I am under the protection of your mighty arms." So Arjuna is actually saying this because he's feeling protected by Krishna. And then he also says that now everyone else is disturbed and so am I. So now Arjun's mood has changed from astonishment, wonder to fear. So earlier he was not fearful, but now he can see how demigods are reacting to this root, how, sages are reacting to this root. So their fear is getting transferred onto Arjun, which is pretty natural. It happens to us also. We see a certain emotion somewhere, and even though we may not be initially feeling that emotion, but that emotion gets transferred to us. And ultimately, we also end up feeling that emotion. So similar thing is happening to Arjun. He's becoming afraid. His mood is now changing to fear. Next, 24.
Nabhasprisham diptam aneka varnam Vyattananam dipta vishala netram Drishtva hi tvam pravyathitantar atma Dhritam navindami shamam cha Vishnu. O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths, and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind.
Yeah. So now he started to experience fear. So now he's seeing the gaping mouth of this universal form and how everyone is entering into that mouth. So now Arjuna is saying that and the eyes are like glowing. So Arjuna is now becoming fearful of this form. And he's saying that I'm getting disturbed. Next, 25.
Damshtra karalani cha te mukhani drishtvaeva kalanalasanibhani disho na jane na labhe cha sharma prasidha devesha jagannivasa. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered.
So now Arjun, by seeing this Kala Roop, is bewildered. And again, he's repeating, "Oh, you are the Lord of the Lords. Oh, you are the refuge of the worlds. Please be gracious to me." So he's repeating this because now he's really scared and he's disoriented. And he's saying that I cannot really keep my balance when I'm seeing this ferocious form. It's scaring me. I am not able to keep my balance and I'm getting completely bewildered. So now from here, we will start seeing what the Kalrup is going to show him in the future. What's going to happen in the future. The Kalrup is now going to witness that, the future. So 26, 27.
Ami chatvam dhritarashtrasya putra sarve sahayvavani palasange Bhishmo dronasutta putrastathaso sahasmadiyerapi yoda mukhe Vaktrani te tavaramani vishanti Damastrakaralani bhayaknani Kechid vilagna dasa nantareshu sandarshyante churniter uttamange. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouth. And some I see trapped with their heads smashed between your teeth.
Wow. So let's just see what Arjun is saying. He's saying, what was Arjun's argument for not fighting the battle? That I don't want to become the source for the death of Bhishma and Drona. I don't want to kill them. So now what is he seeing? That Bhishma and Drona, along with, whole lot of people, even the chief soldiers from Pandava's side, are actually rushing into the gaping mouth, and some are being even crushed by the teeth of this universal form. Why is Krishna showing him this? Krishna is showing him this to actually do what? Why is Krishna showing that all these people are entering into his mouth?
Because Krishna wants to assure him that he's not going to do anything. These are already been killed. You just become an instrument in the later verses. You will see.
Yeah. So basically, that all these, I have, and Krishna will say this, I have killed them all already. They will be killed by my energy of time. My energy of time. On the material platform, it may look like you have killed them, but actually it's my energy which has already destroyed them. So now what I want you to do, I want you to take the credit. You just act according to my instructions, and the killing is actually being done by the time energy of mine, but it will look as if you have killed them. And what I find very interesting, every time I read this verse, I find it very interesting that Dhritarashtra is hearing this, that all his sons will be killed. Bhishma and Drona will be killed. And still, he's hoping for a battle. He wants the battle to happen. So that just shows that how our attachment can bewilder us. Even if the facts are in front of us, still because of our attachments, we refuse to see them. And in the, what Prabhupada says, in a previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjun things that he would be very interested in seeing, that is the future. Now Arjun sees that the leaders of the opposite party, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all other sons of Dhritarashtra, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra and their soldiers and Arjun's own soldiers are all being annihilated. This is an indication that after the death of nearly all the persons assembled at Kurukshetra, Arjun will emerge victorious. Yeah. So it is also mentioned that Bhishma, who's supposed to be inconquerable, will also be smashed, and so will Karna. So, and some great warriors on the side of Pandavas too. So Krishna is showing this. This is a very graphic vision of what's going to happen. Krishna is already showing it to Arjun. 28.
Yatha nadinam bhavavombo vegavat samudramevabhimukha dravanti tatha tavami naraloka vira vishanti vakrana vividsvalanti. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths.
Yeah. So it's interesting that not only is the mouth crushing these people, but it's also burning them. So they are not only just getting crushed between his teeth, the teeth of the Supreme Lord, but also they are great warriors enter blazing into your mouth. So the mouth is also burning everything. So it's quite a fearful sight. Next.
यथा प्रदीप्तं ज्वलनं पतंगा विशन्ति नाशाय समृद्धवेगा तथैव नाशाय विशन्ति लोकास् तव वापि वक्रतानि समृद्धवेगा. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire.
Yeah. So Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan comments on these two verses, 28 and 29, that there are two analogies which are being given. The first one is as the waves of river flow into the ocean, and the second one is as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. So he says that the first one, which is the waves of river flowing into the ocean, is for those people who are getting killed by the time energy of the Lord. It's just because that their time has come to go. These are those people who have entered into the battle as a duty, that I am from this particular side, I have to fight the battle. They don't really harbor any hatred or any dislike for anybody. They are just entering the battle because of duty. And as the moths dashing to destruction in a blazing fire refers to those who have intentionally chosen to act in a improper way, who have intentionally chosen to take the side of the adharma, who have intentionally chosen to act in an adharmic way. So those people are rushing, dashing to destruction. They are running to their own destruction in a blazing fire. So Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan actually explains that this is what is meant by these two analogies. Next, 30.
लीयसे ग्रसमान समन्तान लोकान समग्रान वदने ज्वलद्भिः तेजोभिरापूर्य जगत् समग्रं तवोग्राह प्रतपन्ति विष्णु. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays.
So what Arjun can see, that people are rushing into the mouth of this universal form. They're just rushing into the mouth of this universal form, and the effulgence is so brilliant that the burning rays are burning and scorching the entire universe. So by the effulgence of this universal form, everything around it is burning. Next.
आख्याहिमेको भवानोग्ररूपो नमो अस्तु ते देववरा प्रसीद विज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यं न हि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम्. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You're the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is.
Now we can say that Arjun's mood has changed to awe and reverence. From fear, now he has gone to awe and reverence. And he's saying that he is saying two things. First, I want to know about you, and I want to know what your mission is. Who are you and what's your mission? So he wants to know this. So now his mood has changed to awe and reverence. Yeah. Now Krishna will start speaking. 32.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ka
Hare Krishna.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kalusmit Loksaya Krip Pravriddo Lokasma Mahartu Mi Pravitam Ritepi Tvam Na Vavishyanti Sarve Yavivastha Pratyanikeshu Yodha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time I am the great destroyer of the world, and I have come here to destroy all people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. All the soldiers here on the both sides will be slain.
Yeah. So Krishna is kind of telling him whether you fight or not, they will be killed. They will be killed because I am going to destroy them. And only Pandavas will be saved. So now, after this, Krishna will give him a choice that, become my instrument. I want you to become my instrument. In the next verse, he'll say that. And Prabhupada says in the purport, this is the second paragraph, this form of the Supreme Lord is the all-devouring giant. And here Krishna presents himself in that form of all-devouring giant. Except for a few Pandavas, everyone who was present on that battlefield would be devoured by him. Arjuna was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it was better not to fight. Then there would be no frustration. In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed, for that is his plan. If Arjuna stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death could not be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. Time is destruction, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. So it's just a question of time. They will die. They're meant to die. So if you kill them, like I'm saying, they'll die here. Otherwise, they'll die in some other way. But they have to die. Okay? Rishabh Prabhu?
Mataji, we see if a soldier who is fighting from Dharma side gets heaven if he is killed, what is the destiny of people who are fighting from Dharma side?
If they're fighting as a duty, because they belong to that particular state or whatever, that particular army, they're fighting as a duty. So not really harboring any hatred in their hearts, then they also get heaven. But here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, whoever fights and dies will get liberated because Krishna is personally present. So this battle is going to be a great benediction for everyone. Everyone is going to benefit from this battle. Even though from the outwardly point of view, it may seem that so many people died and this one was saved and this happened. But everyone is going to benefit because Krishna is personally present there. 33.
Tasmat tvam uttishta yasho labhashva jitva shatrum bhungshva rajyam samriddham mayaivaite nihata purvam eva nimitta matram bhavasavyasachim. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Jai.
Yeah, so now he's saying Nimitta Matra Bhava Savyasachin. So anybody knows why he uses the word Sabyasachi?
Arjuna can shoot arrow from both hands.
Yeah, he can shoot arrows. So the way arrow is shot is like this, but Arjun could change his hands and shoot with equal power. So it is described that when Arjun would shoot arrows, you could not tell which hand he was using to shoot the arrow. It would be so fast that, it would go like this. And he was so skilled that it would seem like 1,000 arrows are being shot in one time. So the Lord is now saying that you become my instrument. I have already done everything. I have already decided what is going to be the outcome of this battle. Now you become the instrument. So Prabhupada in his purport says that this is towards the middle. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he continues, there is a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What is this plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home. As long as they have the domineering mentality, which makes them try to lord it over the material nature, they are conditioned. But anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is the most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the cosmic manifestation are under the superior guidance of God. And then Prabhupada says, if one is in full Krishna consciousness and his life is devoted to the Lord's transcendental service, he is perfect. So here he's saying, Nimitta Matra Bhavya Savasachin. So this is a very important instruction for us all. How to become an instrument in the mission of the Lord. So this is something that we all have to see. What role can I play in this mission of the Lord? What is the mission of the Lord? And why is that required? Because he wants to take everyone back home. That is the mission of the Lord, that all those souls who have decided to enjoy independently of him can come back to him. That is the mission. And we have to see what role we can play, how we can become an instrument in that plan of the Lord. So that is something that each one of us has to see. What role can I play? How can I really help in this mission? Next.
Dronam cha bhishmam cha jayadratam cha karnam tatha anyan api yodhaviran maya hatam stvam jahima vyatishta yudhyas svajeta sirane sapatnan. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemy in the battle.
Yeah. So Krishna is mentioning Drona, Bhishma, and Jayadratha. Jayadratha is not, a great warrior like others who are being mentioned here. But there's a reason why he's mentioning Jayadratha. Anybody knows why? Yes, Anandita?
Jayadratha was, kya bolenge, behnoi, he wanted to have Draupadi as his wife and he couldn't get it. And when they were in Vanvas and he tried to capture her, but somehow he was been slain by, I think, Arjuna or one of the Pandavas. And then he was greatly humiliated. So I don't remember exactly, but in the battlefield, one day it was planned that Arjuna will be killed by somehow or other. And I have prepared for the shloka when my Bhagavad Gita class was going on. So what happened that day, that Arjuna will not be survived, but Krishna planned it so nice. Krishna was riding the chariot in such a miraculous way that Arjuna was saved. And I think he took the vow that day, so if he will not kill Arjuna, then he will do suicide or like that. I'm just forgetting this part, but ultimately Arjuna was saved and he was killed.
So Jayadratha, like you said, was the brother-in-law. He was married to Dushala, who was the sister of Duryodhana. And yes, he kidnapped Draupadi, and then Arjun vowed to kill him. And not that time, but actually when Arjun vowed to kill him was because Jayadratha received a boon from Lord Shiva that he would be able to stop the Pandavas once. So Krishna is kind of assuring Arjun here that you don't worry about that boon. You don't have to like really, worry about that. So he's telling him that. And the story that you're saying is that when he stops and Abhimanyu is killed, then Arjun takes the vow that I will kill Jayadratha if I don't kill him by the end of day tomorrow before the sun sets, then I will commit suicide. I will, burn myself by entering the fire. And then the whole day, the whole of Kaurav army tries to protect Jayadratha. They don't let Arjuna come close to him. Even though Arjuna fights very valiantly, but he is not able to come close. And Krishna can see that that sun is about to set. And he wants to protect his devotee. So what he does, he immediately creates a cover of clouds, and it looks like the sun has set. And Jayadratha comes out running and says, okay, now the sun has gone down and, Arjun could not complete his vow. So now he should enter the fire. And as soon as Jayadratha comes out, Krishna removes that cloud. And then he tells Arjun, now there's your enemy, you shoot him. And that's how Arjuna kills Jayadratha. But here the reason Krishna is using the name Jayadratha because he was given this boon by Lord Shiva. So although he's not a great warrior, but he had the boon that he would be able to stop Pandavas once. So that's why he's assuring Arjuna that you don't really need to fear. And then Prabhupada says that every plan is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is going to become so clear throughout Mahabharata that how Krishna orchestrated everything, how he was in control of everything. But he's so kind and merciful to his devotees that he wants to give the credit to his devotees who carry out his plan according to his desire. Life should therefore move in such a way that everyone acts in Krishna consciousness and understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of a spiritual master. The plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are understood by the mercy of the spiritual master, by his mercy. And the plans of the devotees are as good as his plans. Plans of a spiritual master are as good as the plans of the Lord himself. One should follow such plans and be victorious in the struggle for existence. Yeah, such an amazing purport that Prabhupada has given, that one should know that by following the instructions of the spiritual master as one's life and soul, one would actually be following in the footsteps of great devotees and actually follow the instructions of Krishna. Okay, so maybe we can do one more shloka and we can end and then continue tomorrow. Harshita?
Malri, just like out of curiosity, Jayadratha was given the boon that he could stop the Pandavas ban. So when did that happen?
I don't remember. I mean, now I don't remember. I knew it once, but I somehow don't remember now when he was given that boon by Lord Shiva. I can read it and share it with you maybe tomorrow. Okay.
Madhuri, do you recommend any Mahabharat which, as we devotees, could read?
There is one by Krishna Dharma Prabhu. It's a very nice compilation of Mahabharata, both Ramayana and Mahabharata by Krishna Dharma Prabhu. It's nice, very nice. Yeah. Okay, one more and then we'll stop for today.
Sanjay Uvacha Etat Shutva Vachanam Keshavasya Kritanjalir Vepamana Kiriti Namaskritva Bhuya Evaha Krishnam Sadgad Gadam Bhita Pranmaya. Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a flattering voice as follows.
Yeah, so here Sanjay calls Arjuna as Kiriti. Kiriti is because he wears a brilliant celestial helmet. The helmet in Sanskrit is also known as Kirita. So Kiriti is because Arjun wears a brilliant celestial helmet, and this name was given to him by Indra. So after Arjun defeated Indra's army, when he fought on Indra's side and defeated his enemies, that's when Indra gave him this name. So now he's saying that, okay, now Arjun is actually going to start offering the prayers from the next verse. So he's now just preparing, like he's just folded his hands and now he's going to start offering his prayers. And Prabhupada in the purport says, as we have already explained, because of the situation created by the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna became bewildered in wonder. Thus he began to offer his respectful obeisances to Krishna again and again. And with faltering voice, he began to pray, not as a friend, but as a devotee in wonder. So now we'll see tomorrow we'll see that Arjuna will actually start repenting that, I have treated you like an ordinary friend. Sometimes I have even disrespected you. I'm such a fool. So, and I did not really understand what your position is. So like that, he will start repenting and start also praising the transcendental qualities of Krishna. All right, so if there's any question, we can try it now, and otherwise we'll end the class today a little early, and God willing, see you tomorrow.
Mataji, in one of the purports, Prabhupada said that to see the universal form, one needs not to change the mind, but his vision. What does it mean? Devotees try to see in mind?
Mind means to concoct a form,
Okay.
like, out of your own imagination. Oh, maybe it is like this or like that. So not to see it from the mind, but to see it in vision, to actually see this form. And we need special mercy or some special grace to be able to see this form. We can see it. Harshita?
Mataji, it is from verse 2 where Arjuna, yes, Mataji, verse 2.
Okay.
Where Arjuna addresses Lord Krishna as lotus side one. So in the purport, it's mentioned that after he knew that Krishna is the source of all creation, dissolution, of all appearance and disappearance. So Arjun says lotus side. So why, after knowing the opulence, suddenly why did Krishna appear to be extra beautiful to Arjun? What's the significance?
Because he knows my friend is so great. This friend of mine, he's so amazing. So out of love, he's like looking at Krishna, oh, my amazing friend, so you have such a beautiful face, your eyes are so beautiful. So the Acharya's comment actually that it is natural. We even discussed this, that when you have a friend, you don't know anything about that friend. You're just dealing with him on a similar platform. Oh, he's my friend, okay. And then suddenly you come to know that this friend is extraordinary. This friend is not a normal person like you and me. So then, out of wonderment, out of, pride in a good way, like, oh, look at my wonderful friend. So in that sense, he's saying it. Okay?
Okay. And it's only with the Brajvasis that no matter whatever opulence Krishna shows, that they just don't care about. It's only with the Brajvasis.
They don't care because they don't really connect with him at that level. They see Krishna as theirs. He is our son, he is our friend, he is our, beloved, he is ours. So they don't really like to see him in any other way. And that's why Krishna enjoys that rasa the most and that relationships the most. Because he is God, he knows that. He doesn't want to be reminded that he's God all the time. He wants a relationship based on love, not based on his opulence. Yeah, Divyalila?
Mataji, pranam. Santa and demigods were also able to see the Vishwarup, universal form. Is it complete Vishwarup or the partial like Duryodhana?
It is not mentioned anywhere that they saw a partial Vishwarup, so I will assume that it was what Arjun was saying.
Okay.
Because they could definitely see the Kalarup. They could, that's why they were always scared. They could see the Kalarup. And Prabhupada, none of the acharyas comment on it, and Prabhupada doesn't say that it was partial, so I assume that it was a full Vishwarup. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Anandita?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for your association.
Thank you for yours.
It's, less time to be with you for this course because only 3 classes are left now.
I think too, maybe we'll finish it by Thursday. I mean, I think maybe we'll be able to do so. Let's see.
More, whatever you want. Maybe from these 6 chapters or whatever, please don't cut the class. Even we have a very lesser association of you. So you think whatever you can, you can share some of Srila Prabhupada's lectures or whatever. And this is something every time when we leave one speaker, and then it's quite a nostalgic feeling, And first of all, I would like to thank you for everything, whatever you have taught us and whatever I could grab in my dull mind, dull head. But yesterday when Dayanvita Mataji was asking about the challenges that a person, sadhak like us, like me, faces in front of all who are not practicing in the family. So we have heard it so many times that Prabhupada has not named ISKCON as International Society for God Consciousness or whatever. So every time the consciousness matters, and you beautifully said, and that I don't know how many times I've recalled this statement throughout the day that you said, Prabhupada has named ISKCON as International Society for Krishna Consciousness, not Krishna activities. So it doesn't matter what activity you are doing, the consciousness should be in Krishna throughout. So this is very beautiful line you said, and I was reminding myself and recalling the statement throughout the day. And Mataji, I don't know, I'm not the senior most in this group, but actually I've shifted from Hindi to English batch. And in Hindi batch, we had 2 tutors, and I've requested both on the behalf of the whole team of members that we were attending to speak about themselves, that how did they come to Krishna consciousness and about their journey from beginning till here, so that we can also be inspired. And so I would like to request you for the same, since we have time today, so please speak about this, about yourself, that how did you get in and how you're continuing.
My journey is like any other soul, conditioned soul who is struggling in the material world. So my journey is nothing special. And what you said that, you liked about yesterday's class, well, that is all coming from my teachers and Prabhupada. This is not me. It is all their contribution in my life. And yes, activities matter, but consciousness behind it matters the most. It's not like sometimes you may think that okay, I don't really need to do anything. I just need to think of Krishna. No, Prabhupada calls this devotional service. So activities are to be done, but it is the consciousness behind that activity that needs to be monitored. So just making that clarification. Well, I came into Krishna consciousness. I actually now think that I should have actually come into Krishna consciousness much before than I did. And because the reason is that I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam from the age of 15. When I was 15 years old, I was reading Bhagavatam, the whole of Bhagavatam every year, but in a summary form, not like Prabhupada's Bhagavatam. So the basic philosophy of Bhagavatam, I was familiar with. And also I was reading Gita, but not Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. And then we lived in New York for 6 years. And this was before I really came into ISKCON. I was living in New York, and going to all the temples, whichever place we went to, whether it was DC, it was Chicago, wherever we went, we always ended up in ISKCON temple. Because whoever we were visiting, they would say, okay, let's just go to see ISKCON temple today. Somehow by higher arrangement, we would always end up there. And I would always go and buy books because I really like reading books. So although I never read any, but I bought a whole lot of books. So I didn't read any book. And then when we came back to India, so my cousin who had started following ISKCON, he came and he preached to us, and he told us to, go and attend a seminar, which is called 6 Sessions That Could Change Your Life or Discover Yourself. And that was running for the second time in our temple. And he kind of forced us to register. So we went for that seminar. And since I was already familiar with the philosophy, it was very easy for me to accept whatever they said. I was like, okay, yes, makes sense. And on the 5th day, when they did a session on why bad things happen to good people. And I remember my husband and I, we were sitting for that seminar. As soon as that class got over, we both decided, okay, this is it, and we are now going to get serious about our lives, and we are going to try and become devotees. We don't want to, accumulate any more karma. And that's how the journey started. And then Krishna dragged me through various ways, and the journey is continuing by his mercy and with the mercy of his devotees. So that was the starting point. Yeah.
Very nice. Where do you live, Mataji? In India or outside India?
I got exposed to ISKCON outside India, but I formally decided to take up the process of devotional service in India.
So you live in Delhi?
I live in Noida. Yes, very much in India, very much. I'm connected to the Radha Parsati temple. I'm not really connected to the Noida temple, although I live in Noida. But all my services, and from the beginning, I have been connected to that temple. So
I think you were one of the tutors in the Hindi batch as well, right?
Oh yes. Yes.
Okay. I don't know because this English batch got started after we finished Bhagavad Gita in Hindi batch. All of a sudden, Krishna inspired me to join this course as well. And of course, they have the coordinators have been asking me for many times. And when I asked my mentor, Grace Radha Kishori Mataji, she said, "Oh, don't lose this association."
Your mentor is Radha Kishori. Okay. Now I understand. Okay, you are from Gurgaon?
Yeah, Mataji.
Okay, all right. Oh,
she said, "Don't lose this association. Please go ahead. It may take some more time." So all of you are so exalted. Then
actually, it is the Association of Prabhupada Books, and it is the Association of like-minded devotees that makes the difference. We may read it on our own, but when we read with devotees who are like-minded, who are all trying to understand Prabhupada books, it really has a very magical effect. And whoever finishes this course, Bhakti Śāstrī, and if they have attended it with sincerity, their lives will change. I mean, I have experienced this so many times, that people who do Bhakti Śāstrī with proper consciousness, with proper intention, their life just takes on to a different level. It will change. You will not be the same person after you finish the course. You will be on a different platform.
Please bless us so that we can be.
You please bless me so that I can bless you. I'm not really in a state to bless anybody.
But I can just want to share. I just want to share one realization in the last week. Today is Tuesday, right? So in the last week, I was just having this feeling that I should hear more and more. I would like it was. I think I don't know how many times it happened in my journey of Krishna consciousness in this 9 years, but this was something very miraculous to know, to feel that I was just hankering to hear more and more in the last week. So this is what very pleasurable.
Yeah, this is the most wonderful hankering, to want to hear more about Krishna. You know, we should, if we get that hankering, we should try to cultivate and retain that hankering. This is what's going to make the difference before and after Bhakti Śāstrī. The desire to hear more, desire to study Prabhupada books at a deeper level. So, yeah, it's a wonderful experience. You're very fortunate. I mean, every time I see a Bhakti Śāstrī batch, then I think, oh, their lives are going to change. They are just going to go on a different platform from after this course. It's going to be so wonderful. So.
One more thing, when I thought to start this course, even before 1 or 2 years as well during the Corona time, but due to some other sevas, Mataji told me to wait for some time and then you go ahead. And then when I was starting this course, I had a feeling that since she's taking our Bhagavad Gita class for so many years, and we have repeatedly done it. You know, sometimes we have finished chapter 5, then again we came back to chapter 3, like that. So we have done it many times. So ultimately we reached up to chapter 12. Then I don't know, due to my overconfidence or foolishness, I was thinking, though, when I will do Bhakti Śāstrī, then I will just, know everything about what is given in Bhagavad Gita. And she caught me up. She said, okay, Anandita, you don't think like this. Though I didn't say anything, but she said that His Grace Bhurijan Prabhu wrote in Saranjan to me. He wrote the whole book, whole commentary on Prabhupada's book, and he wrote that I haven't understood Bhagavad Gita. And he has delivered so many thousands of lectures on Bhagavad Gita. So we cannot think it. So I was sharing with the Rasal, sharing the same with the Rasal Prabhu also when I joined the English batch. He asked me, how is your batch, how is your Bhakti Śāstrī going on? Prabhuji, I just realized that.
You are on mute.
Bhakti Śāstrī, because it's profound, it's very deep.
The Prabhupada books are living books. The more you read, the more they will reveal. And the books reveal themselves according to the level of our realization. And all of us experience this, that, you read Bhagavad Gita first time, you catch something. The second time you read, and it's a different revelation. And you wonder, how did I miss it the first time? I didn't even realize that this was there. So these are amazing books. And some of the Prabhupada disciples have read Bhagavad Gita 150 times. And I think Prahladananda Maharaj said that he has read it like 250 times or something, Bhagavad Gita. So, and every time, and he says that I don't know Bhagavad Gita yet, because every time it reveals something different, completely different from what he had understood in the past. So yes, these are amazing. The more we read Prabhupada books, the more realization we'll have that we have not even scratched the surface yet. They are so deep, so deep. So yeah, I can only request you that please read Prabhupada books as much as possible, and with systematically, then thematically, and then at the studies are done at many levels. First is systematically, like we're doing now. Then it is done at that thematic level, where you see what are the main themes and then study it accordingly. Then higher than that is at the devotional level, where you don't see from the academic point of view, you see what is the lesson for me to learn from this particular thing. So everything is then, read from that point of view. What is the lesson for me? How can I apply this in my life? So the Shastras can be read at so many different levels, and at every level, there'll be a different revelation. So, okay, thank you for being patient.
Mataji, are you also the writer of the book, What It Means to be Grihastha?
I am just a compiler. Prabhupada wrote everything. I didn't write even a single word.
Oh, thank you, Mataji. Actually, that is very nice. At the time of my marriage, Maharaj recommended us to read that. I even had a talk with your husband, Anand Chaitanya Prabhuji.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, he guided us very well. We were disturbed, but Maharaj told me to take guidance from him. So I called him and
It
took
was,
that.
yeah, it was my Guru Maharaj's desire to have that book, and by his desire, it manifested. By his desire, it got distributed. I don't know how it happened, what happened, but it happened.
But it's really very wonderful book, Mataji.
Yeah, because everything is from Prabhupada's books. Everything in that book is from what Prabhupada has said. So it's not mine. That's why it's so wonderful.
Thank you, Maharaj, for that effort.
Yes, I wanted to go early today. Dayanvita, yes, last. Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but it was just 5 more minutes only of yours.
5 are only left till 9:30. Yes.
Yeah, I'll keep it fast. Mataji, like as Krishna showed his universal form only to Krishna, only to Arjuna. So it was his vision which he gave to Arjun. But Bhishma was also the pure devotee, and why he was not able to saw the Krishna's universal form in the battle of field, but in the assembly he was able to see it, right? No?
Yeah. So even Duryodhan could not see. In the assembly, he could see. But it's Krishna's desire.
Yeah.
It's Krishna's desire who he wants to show what. He wanted to empower Arjun to fight. And also he was specifically giving this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjun to start a new parampara. So that's the reason he wanted Arjun to see this form, so that Arjun would not feel guilty that I don't want to kill Drona and Bhishma, because that was one of the arguments. So Krishna is actually empowering Arjuna to fight, that you get up and do as I tell you. So that is the reason Krishna chooses Arjuna to see this form.
One more question is there. In the verse 32, there is a sentence, time is destruction. It's mentioned in the Prabhupada's purport, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. So time is destruction. As we saw in the past few years, COVID was too much affected, and a lot of people died in the COVID situation. So we can say that it was their time which they has to like, yeah.
Nothing happens by chance. It is all designed. Different things become instruments. COVID became an instrument for those whose time had come. So they don't blame time, they blame COVID. Similarly, they'll say, oh, COVID killed, but actually it's the time has come. So different.
Mataji, when the time comes, so did the person who is leaving, so will he or she able to know that now I have to leave this world, I am no more to be here? Is there any way, like, or Krishna comes and says, or
some do, some don't. That is why it is always good to be prepared, that we can go at any time and we may not know when is our last moment. So we should be preparing for our entire life for that moment when we have to go, and we can know that, okay, leaving, okay, Krishna, you are the only one I want to think about right now. You are my only shelter. Whether it's Krishna or his pure devotee, it could be Prabhupada, it could be a Guru Maharaj, but somebody who's either Krishna or intimately connected to Krishna. We have to channel our consciousness in such a way that we can focus on them when we are leaving our bodies. So the whole life is a practice to actually get to that point when we leave.
Mataji, as we are practicing devotee, we are not a devotee, we can say we are just practicing right now. So, and we are doing the chanting at a Nam Aprat level right now. How can we move to Namabhas stage?
Namabhas stage is nothing but consciously trying not to commit offenses. If you every day consciously try that I don't want to commit the offenses towards the holy name, you will reach the Namabhas stage. Trying to be conscious while chanting. That is an intermediate state.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being patient. God willing, we'll meet tomorrow and continue the rest of 11th chapter. Hare Krishna.